Hey guys, hope you're having a great day today. My name is Daniel, and in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the new YITAMOTOR headlight assemblies. This is the upgraded version. So for my Ram 3500 that I've got, it's a 2012. It just has the one high and low beam bulb. Well, this is the upgraded version that has the high and low beam different lights. It's got all the wiring inside of it already. Everything's very clean, ready to go. Basically plug and play. So I'm very excited to share this with you and to kind of talk about a few things with this install, but it's pretty simple installing these new headlight assemblies, but we'll go ahead and get right into it. Before we get into the install, I did just want to share with you why you might want to check to see if your headlight assemblies might need to be replaced. I can tell you for mine, this is my left side. It's actually, I don't know if you can hear that, but it carries water. In the winter time, this will load up with water and then it'll freeze and it'll get worse and worse and worse. The seal has been broken for some time. I've tried to repair this myself several different times, trying to seal it up to no effect. This headlight carries water, and what happens eventually is the water gets up into the actual lights and I believe short circuits them out to where I have premature high beam and low beam. Since this is the old version that has just the one bulb for high and low beam, it essentially will shorten it out. And basically that's where I have failure, and you can tell because we're taking on water. Another reason why you might want to replace your headlight assemblies is the discoloring and the fading. The fading is definitely, I believe, cutting into the actual light going out of the headlight assembly and really not giving me the visuals I need out on the road to be able to see and be safe out on the road. So if you've got discoloring, maybe you've tried a bunch of different products to try to get this to be cleared up, all the fogginess and issues. I've had no success. I've tried a couple different products, and it's just time to get a new assembly after 10 years with my truck. And lastly, a good reason why you might want to check into getting a new headlight assembly like this from YITAMOTORs is that this actually has some cracking and looks like a couple melting spots from some other issues that I guess have come on. This one, the right side, does not carry water just yet. So thankfully it hasn't filled up with water, turned to ice, and then made it even worse. But besides the discoloring, the leaking seal from my other headlight, there's actually some holes that are really starting to get gouged, and I'm assuming from maybe road debris hit at the front of my truck. But it's just a matter of time before this fails as well. So this is definitely a reason why you want to probably check into seeing if your headlight assembly needs to be replaced. So one last thing about this upgrade is that for my Ram, because it comes from the dual high and low beam setup for the actual lights installed into the actual assembly, this is going to be the dual lights. You are going to be able to have now the high and low beam separated from each other, and I believe able to give you a little bit better overall setup for your truck. There's a reason why the newer trucks come with more and more lights, and hopefully giving you more visibility out on the road. So I've got the Sylvania high and low beam, and then as well I wanted to get two brand new amber lights for the turn signals. So along with the bulb grease, if you were to need some of that, this can be a help to you when you're installing these new headlights and being able to have security and knowing that your lights are going to be set up on the right track. So anyways, with these headlights, the wiring is all put together. There is no trying to figure out what's going on, how we do this, how we do that. All of the wiring basically is already set up in this to where all you have to do is simply take off the tops, or the caps, I guess. This one right here would be the top. So if the light is facing like this, this would be the top, and simply there's already the wiring in here to go. It's literally plug and play. The harness that goes to your old single stage, basically where you have the high and low beam together, it would plug in right here. So literally you're plugging and playing high and low beam right into here, just like you would before, except instead of one, it's now two. You've got that all set up, and then right here is where the original amber would go, just like on your old setup. So upgrading from the single stage, I guess is what I would call it, setup, you're now able to have dual lights here, basically for your high and your low beam, and you're gonna be good to go. So essentially, in my mind, this makes things simpler. It's plug and play. I believe it's waterproof. This whole setup seems to be very, very clean. It's a clean setup. Everything I've poked around, I've looked inside, everything is just solid. I'm gonna go ahead and take off this plastic when I get actually to the installation, but everything about this is solid. It's very sturdy, structurally sound. It looks like the seal is excellent. Compared to my old seal, I'm looking forward to not carrying water in my headlight assembly. So without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get these installed and show you the final results. All right, so to be able to get your headlight assembly out, if you've probably already replaced your headlights before, but just in case you have not, if you're wanting to upgrade to this higher quality headlight, I would say you're going to take out these two 10mm bolts here, one there and then one here. So simply with a 10mm socket, take that one out, take the bottom one out. Once you do that, you'll be able to just simply pull the headlight assembly out, and they would be connected to your original actual headlights being plugged in. Again, this would be for the old version. That's the amber light that goes to the amber setting here, and then the old headlight that has high and low beam built into it. This was the old one. So basically I'm going to take this out of here, disconnect this right here, and then disconnect the old version of the amber light as well for the turn signal, and then get these replaced with the new ones, and I'll be able to show you the next step. So my first suggestion to you for your amber lights, the 3157 NA bulbs for your actual turn signals, I would suggest getting the bulb grease and actually getting this taken care of before you actually do anything else. Get this on the actual contacts here to be able to make sure that it's not going to actually stick or break or have any issues like that, any warping, and be able to get this installed safely. Next, on the assembly, we're going to take off the covers, or the caps, for both the low and the high beam. And you can already see here the harness literally is just all plug and play. Very simple, very easy. This goes to the original connector, just where the old one would plug in from. And this would be the low beam, and this would be the high beam. So we're going to take the Sylvania H11C and match that up here with this plug right there. Let me get it the right way. And that's going to clip right in. Make sure it's a secure connection right there. And then we're going to simply install that. Here we go. So clockwise, righty-tighty, that's now secure in there. No water's going to break that barrier. That's pretty hard suction right there. And then next we're going to take one of the high beam. We're going to connect that as well. Get that plugged in the right way. See right there. Locks in place there. And then we're going to go ahead, go righty-tighty to that as well. And then boom, we're done. We're going to put the caps back on. I believe they've got to be watertight as well. That's a pretty good seal around there. So we're going to go ahead and put this back together. And then next we're just going to take off this little cover that goes to the amber light that we've already installed. Put this on the table, and then just simply install the amber light down here, and then plug this into the original connector for the low and the high beam. So here we are at the truck. We're going to go ahead and get the amber light installed. I know there's a certain way it's got to go. There's one big side and then two smaller sides that go to actually lock this in place. So the amber light's now plugged in, ready to go, and then we're going to just get this connected right here from the original plug, and then just get this locked in position, and boom, there you have it. I am going to go ahead and get this locked into the old I guess, position there to hold this in place secure. We're gonna go ahead and turn this and get this lined up. I'm gonna go ahead and also simply take off the plastic overall for this whole setup here. All right, so with that in place, I'm gonna go ahead and get the two 10mm bolts back on there. So simply getting these two 10mm back on there tight. Make sure the headlight is gonna be aimed the right way. I do know that there is a focuser, or basically an ability to adjust the high beams, I believe, on this setup. I believe I've never done that before myself, so that would be a new thing for me to do. Maybe that's a future video if it's worth doing. But basically, these two 10mm are going to hold this thing in place. The harness is secure back there. Everything's buttoned up. Everything's secure. I am super thrilled with this ability to have high and low beams. You can kind of see in there. Let's see real quick. You can kind of see that's the actual low beam, that's the high beam, and then the actual amber is right there. Looks pretty clean to me. I'm excited about not having water, actually having bright lights. That's going to be a huge difference for me. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other side, and I'll get back with you. So it looks like I kind of got rained out here while I was doing the job, but I've got the front right installed already. I turned on and tested the lights. I've got perfect power coming through, no issues at all. The amber is working with the high and the low beam coming out there. So I may have to do some adjusting to raise or lower the angle at which the light is actually shining up or down on. I'll probably do that when it's dark, when it's nighttime, maybe in a parking lot, or maybe when I'm, maybe facing a building in a dark area, maybe just to be able to get the right pitch of how I want that to be set up. But I'm going to see how it comes straight from the factory, how it might work for me just as is, and we'll kind of go from there for my setup. I will get the front left here installed in just a minute once the rain kind of settles down a little bit. Hopefully this was a help to you. If you were considering jumping up from the old way of maybe having the high and low beam in one bulb, up to the dual setup, to where you've got a high and a low beam bulb, and maybe they're able to put out a little bit more light. I believe the Sylvania ZXE Gold setup is a little bit higher quality. It's a higher output of light, and maybe that'll be more helpful for you out on the road. Instead of going straight to the LEDs, which might really blind some people across the way. A lot of people talk about being blinded by LED lights and stuff. I didn't want to do that necessarily, but I did want to get a little bit more bang for my buck as far as my lights and visibility out on the road. So I do think this is the upgrade for me. I'm very happy with it. Maybe I can talk about this in the future. Again, kind of a review later on at some point, but I'm excited about this setup. Hopefully you are as well. If you're considering going, again, from the single bulb to the dual bulb setup, let me know down in the comments below. If you already have a system to where you've got high and low beam differences, maybe this would be an option for you as a just simple replacement. It's where you're able to have this as a plug and play setup. This is very simple, very easy to do. Two 10mm bolts taking out, and then just the harnesses, plug and play. Get you some bulb grease to be able to make sure that there's no corrosion on those contact points, and I think it's going to be a great setup for you. I will let you know how things go. Hopefully you have a great day today, guys. Stay safe, and God bless.